I believe we have a Heisman quarterback. And when you have a Heisman quarterback, you got to have the receivers to make plays. And individually wise, I want to make plays for him because what he has done and just him being a leader here, I have so much respect for him. Me and Hook, we go back a long time. Even when he was at Virginia Tech, I committed there before I came here, so that's how I met him at first. And it's a brotherhood, and I love him, and I try to go out there, and it doesn't matter what ball he throws me, man. I'm trying to make the play for him, just because what he has done for me. I just want to give back to him.
It was very casual. We were just kind of walking off the field, and he was like, "So what you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna come back next year." He was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm excited. Let's go to Atlanta." And I was like, "Yes, sir. Let's make it happen."
Like 99% of the people in this world want to be great. Would you agree with that? Yeah, they're called wannabes. 1% work to be great. Drop the mic on that.
Yeah, I didn't sign any mustard bottles or golf balls. Maybe wish I had had a golf ball that night, you know what I mean? But I'm only kidding. All right.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber. What's
Dauber,
happening, buddy? Man,
dude,
what's happening?
do you have your cigar ready to go for next week? I'm just asking. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since you felt like you need to go buy a cigar and have it ready to go, but I think I'm going to have one ready to go. We may even have to fire it up right here inside the house and piss off the whole family because we are celebrating. We are celebrating tonight, and I'm calling it right now. We're going to be celebrating next week.
5-0, baby. 5-0.
What? How big is this game? We talked about, it's layers, right? It's layers. Start September 4-0, and then all of a sudden LSU comes around. It's another top 25 matchup. Let's go beat LSU 1 week at a time. Now, here we are, 5-0, and this Tennessee football team, it's not like they're playing Pellissippi State. They're not out there playing Maryville College. They have beat at the time, a top 15 ranked Pitt team on the road. Now let's up the ante. They go and beat Florida inside of Neyland Stadium. Get the monkey off their back. Let's up the ante. Let's go on the road to Death Valley and beat a good LSU team on the road to get to 5-0 heading into Bama week.
For sure. I said pregame in the tailgate show, this game today is a good test to measure where this team is. Yes, LSU, they're ranked in the top 25. They've had some struggles. They opened with Florida State and kind of they didn't look like, but LSU is a good team. They have athletes. Yes, they have Brian Kelly in the first year coaching, but man, let me tell you what, getting it done. Lots of improvement from the Florida game. This defense, they stepped up in some big ways at big times. They mixed it up a little bit today, and that's what I liked. 5 and got that L for LSU.
Just a huge win for the program. And look, A lot of people believe Tennessee was going to go out there and get it done today. I think there's probably very, very few people that thought Tennessee was going to go out and win 40-13. Just domination. So many things we're going to talk about today. How about special teams, the quick start, the way things started, being able to run the football down the stretch to get this win and close this thing out. I know you're going to pat yourself on the back. Go ahead.
Who said that this running back stable was going to have a day?
A lot of positives to take out of this thing.
I felt like they'd been bottled up, and they just hadn't got it done. And I think that they took it personally a little bit, that they weren't able to close out the Florida game and finish, picking up first downs. You saw Jalen Wright, 5.5 minutes left in the game. What's he do? Picks up a huge 3rd and 8.
But that's the difference between people complaining last week about going conservative. Tennessee went conservative tonight too, or today, this afternoon. They went conservative again. The difference is they were picking up the yardage. They were picking up the first downs. They milked, I think what they say, 9 minutes off the clock in that last drive. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So many positive things to talk about. Let's run down the chat. Let's see who's here. You guys dropping a lot of super chats. 600 people watching live. Look, the night Jeremy Pruitt got fired, there were 1,000 people in the chat. Now Tennessee, we have twice the subscribers. We've doubled the subscriber base. Tennessee's 5-0. They're looking at a top 5 ranking heading into an Alabama game that's going to be the biggest game as fans we have seen in probably 20 years. Share that freaking link. Hit that share button. Get it out on social media. If we don't hit 1,000 people in this chat today, that's a disappointment in our fan base. Let's come celebrate a big-time win. Brick is in the house, says, hashtag Hooker for Heisman. Absolutely huge. I love the fact that the media is actually talking about it now. Wayne Starnes is here. What's up, Wayne? Big Ronnie is in the house. Says, how about that defense? Yeah, we're going to talk about that defense. Super Saiyan is here. Always checking out the videos. Good to see Super Saiyan in the chat. Huge win. I expected a 3-score win. Who else we got here? James is in the house. James says, we want Bama. Absolutely, man. I told you, I'm not picking against Tennessee until they lose. Let's go take care of business. Lonnie Alval Williams is in the house. Trevor Dixon says, big dub, GBO. A lot of super chats. Let me run through. I'm going to blast through a ton of super chats real quick. You guys being very generous tonight. We appreciate it. And then Dauber and I are going to break down this game and get into it. Speaking of Dauber, the Artful Dauber for $10. You know we've made it, Dauber. Like, it's not like we're famous, but as a channel, we've made it when they're changing their names, including your name in it. The Artful Dauber for 10. 5-0 going into Bama week. We talked about it for months, and here we are. It came true, Boogie. Let's go. Exactly. Man, that's the thing. We have talked about it for months, and now it's a reality. It's time to celebrate and be excited about it. Robert Tyndale becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Robert. We appreciate that. You got access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, access to the fan call-in shows, all that good stuff. If you like what we do, hit that join button just below the video. You can become a member of the channel as well. But thank you for that, Robert. Robert 45 Tennessee for $50. That ain't cheap. $50 from Robert 45 Tennessee. Let's go Vols, but it is $50, so we do have to play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
My goodness. You know, I thought I had this whole thing figured out, Dauber, that I could star comments and I could star super chats and star memberships, but the chat is going so absolutely insane that I can't even keep them starred between reading them. You guys are absolutely nuts. Hey, we're going to stay live all night long if we have to.
Listen, it is bonkers heading into the Alabama week. It's Alabama hate week. 5-0. 5-0.
It's a beautiful, like you just said, we've talked about it. We've talked about it to death, and now here we are, and it's reality.
It's insane. And you could not have scripted a better way for this game to start this afternoon for Tennessee.
Let me get through the rest of these super chats, and then we'll come back and talk about it. I'm just trying to do my best to make sure I don't miss any super chats. We're glad you guys are here with us. We're up over 750 people watching live right now. Make sure you guys do smash that thumbs up. Stevie J for $100. That ain't cheap.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Stevie J for $100 says, why have I never seen a sign saying Hooker turning tricks in Knoxville for a good time call? Hashtag Rocky Top. Thank you, Stevie J. Very, very generous super chat. I know I have seen some Hooker themed T-shirts, and he probably hates it. He probably hates all of that stuff. But thank you, Stevie J. Very generous super chat. Evan counts for 20. I'm not crying. You're crying. Rocky MF. I don't know what that MF means, but he says Rocky MF Top. Get the heck out of here. Let's go. What a celebration, man. Thank you, Evan, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Adam Smith for 5. 5 for. It's too early for this. It's too early in the day to start allocating super chats to Dauber, but thank you, Adam. 5 for Dauber in honor of Hendon Hooker. We thank you for the super chat, Adam. Joel's in the house. What's up, Joel? Good to see you in the chat. $10. Whoa, that's aggressive, Joel. That's aggressive, Joel. Have you been drinking? It's only 3:30. You guys can read it. Thank you for the tip, Joel. We appreciate it. Scotty for 2, thank you for the super chat. Bionic Clay for $10. LSU, this just confirmed Rocky Top has been relocated to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go Big Orange. Me and my wife will be in Neyland next week. Thank you for the super chat, Clay. Going to be a huge atmosphere next week.
Let me comment on that one. How many times in the TV broadcast did you hear the Big Orange crowd at Death Valley? Man.
They were filing out in the third quarter. They were filing out in the third quarter.
The crowd singing Rocky Top and the mics to pick it up on the TV broadcast. Man. And just the pictures and video that I've seen from the Vol faithful that traveled down to Baton Rouge for the game, taking over Louisiana. Love it.
It's amazing that they go down there. People drove down there on Friday, and they were partying on Friday night, and then they were waking up at 5 o'clock this morning and started partying again immediately.
This fan base is starved for success. I've said it multiple times. And just the way this team is playing, man, Tennessee travels well anyway. Tennessee travels. But to have a team that is in the top 10 and playing the way that they're playing, man, I'm telling you, JP didn't want to go to the Florida game because tickets were $300 plus. You're probably not getting into the Bama game for $600, $700, $1,000.
And that's a good problem to have. That's good. I don't want to be able to go. I don't want to be able to afford tickets because I want to be able to celebrate. I want to be able to celebrate and enjoy success. I would rather stay home and live stream with you than go down there and pay and let somebody else pay $800 for a ticket. Let's do it, man. That game on Saturday. How big is that? Seriously, Dauber. I when I talk about it, and like the Artful Dauber said, we've been talking about it. Here we freaking are at 5-0, undefeated going into that Bama game. And every time I would say that and say that Bama game is going to be absolutely huge, what's the last game that was this big?
Well, let me put this out there. You talk about Hendon Hooker and the national media starting to pick up on him. He goes and beats Alabama, goes head to head against Bryce Young, and beats him. You talk about leapfrogging to the top of the Heisman talk.
Front runner.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Guys, I've got all your super chats starred. We're going to hit every single super chat. If me and Dauber have to stay live until 10 o'clock tonight, we are going to hit every single super chat. So bear with us as we kind of try to flow through this conversation, get your comments, get our comments in there. But I feel like there's no better time than right now because, look, Alabama week starts now, and we're going to break down this LSU game. We're going to get into the details. We're just so fired up, and I said, let's just wing it. Let's just talk. Let's just celebrate. But it is officially Alabama week. I mean, Thomas Thomas says it right there. Buck Fama. What better time to go order your Buck Fama shirt than right now at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. This shirt is a limited edition. It is going to be gone forever on Saturday after the game. So if you want this shirt, now, yeah, it's a little late. You may not get it before the game. But if you want this shirt, you better go get it right now because it's going to be gone after that Alabama game. And what better shirt to celebrate with than Buck Fama? Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link is also in the description below. Let me go jump over back into Super Chats. There are a ton of Super Chats, guys. Let me burn through these, and then we're going to jump in and dive into this game. Ed is for UT for $20. Thank you for Super Chat. How about our D-line? This could be our best season in 25 years. I'll just go ahead and say it, Dauber. Hell yeah, Buck Fama. Let's freaking go. Yeah, we'll jump into that defensive line here in just a moment as well. Dave Sims becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for the support. We appreciate that. Patrick Sims also becomes a member of the channel. Guys, thank you for that. The more members of the channel, the more content we can continue to bring you. Derek Sanders for 10. Big statement game to let people know we're here. Defense, keep improving. That's exactly what that was, a statement game. You know, Pitt, not as good as we thought. Georgia Tech beat them, right? And then Florida. It's not the Florida of old. And now here it is, LSU on the road, Death Valley, another big win. And people can make excuses all they want to make them. The bottom line is Tennessee is going out and beating top-ranked teams on the road and in Neyland Stadium. 5-0, Dauber.
This was never in doubt, though.
Never.
This team, they didn't let up. They didn't really go conservative. The play calling did a little bit, but they finished.
9 minutes, Dauber. 9 minutes in one drive. You can't tell me they had a bye week. You cannot tell me they didn't work because they looked awkward in that Florida game. We talked about it on the Wednesday show. They looked awkward trying to chew clock. They did not look as awkward. They did have to use a timeout. They looked better, slowing things down, chewing that clock, and getting out with the W. So conservative or not, this team is growing and getting better. Let me keep rocking and rolling with these Super Chats. Zach Cherry for 10. Boogie, call the police, call the FBI. There has been a murder in Baton Rouge. Hooday. Thank you, Zach. We appreciate that. Vols Guy becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for joining. Randy Bandy becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that. Ron the Don for 5. The defense is a big defense. Thank you for the Super Chat, Ron. John Call becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for that. Robert Tuck for 2. We beat their brains in and haven't played our best. Pretty close today. Putting it together on both sides. Tyler Adams for 5. Thank you for the Super Chat. Can we start to say this season is all about righting all the wrongs of the past? It feels like finally things are going our way. Brandon Lee for $100. $100 from Brandon Lee. That is not cheap.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Thank you, Brandon Lee. Very generous Super Chat. We'll let that one soak a little bit. I still got every single Super Chat starred. If you drop a Super Chat, we will go back and we will hit it. But $100 Brandon needs to see his name on the screen for just a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about this game. Then we'll circle back, come back, hit your Super Chats, get your feedback. Like I said, if we got to stay live all night long, Dauber and I will do that. Dauber, you mentioned the quick start. Let's talk about it. Perfect start. I love the fact that LSU comes out, wins the toss, and says, we want the football. And I didn't really think about it at the time, but when you look at the way the game played out, they wanted the football. Brian Kelly going for it on 4th down, something that we said there's no way he's going to do that before the game.
But here, that blew my mind.
He turns around and does it. But LSU wants the football so they can go score, keep Tennessee's offense off the field. They fumble the opening kick. Tennessee drives right down and answers with a quick touchdown. We see a little D. Williams early with that big-time punt return. Shout out to Gabriel. Gabriel called it in the tailgate show. But Tennessee started fast, and LSU really never got a chance to recover.
Here's battered Vol syndrome kicking up. My first thoughts, the second drive after the D. Williams punt return of 58 yards, and then after turning them over on downs on the 4th down stop, settling for field goals. Mm-hmm. I thought, great, here we go again. Because that is a point. You score 14 points right there instead of 6. You're up 3 touchdowns, at that point. And this game is done in the first quarter. But, the defense stepped up. The defense stepped up, and I am elated with the progress seen on that side of the ball from the Florida week to today.
And the thing is, you like to pat yourself on the back. You like to say, I said this, I said that. Who's been saying it, Dauber? Who has said, look, the reality is, and when you pull up the stats and you look at the stats from today's game, and you look at passing yards, Jaden Daniels threw for 300 yards, 32 of 45, threw for 300 yards. He had an interception there late in the game when the game was pretty much over at that point anyway. But Tennessee got after it today. They got aggressive. I would much rather see – LSU couldn't finish. They couldn't get in the end zone. They couldn't take advantage of it. I love the aggressiveness from this defense all day long. You saw them bring in blitzes. I love the stunts up front. They were causing confusion up front. I don't know how many sacks they ended up with, but you had Joshua Josephs get a sack early. BY, how many sacks did BY have? Three, four?
Big time.
Roman Harper had a big play. Latrell Bumpus, one of the sacks that BY cleaned up. Bumpus was living in the backfield. The pressure that they got created plays, and that was a big part of the success today. I saw a lot of people complaining, and again, it's social media. It's almost social media. Saw people complaining about this defense. Dauber, we said it forever. Under Josh Heupel, they don't have to be elite. They just have to be good enough. And when you're playing loose, fast, and making plays like they did today, you're going to win more than you lose.
Here is another big improvement from the Florida game to this week. 4th down. LSU was 0 for 3 on 4th down. Tennessee was 3 for 3. That's a huge stat right there. Because when you look back at the Florida game, I think they were, 5 of 6? Something like that.
Way more success.
Way more success on 4th down. Extending drives, keeping the offense with that ball, which that allowed Florida to play themselves back into the game, especially when Tennessee kind of let off the gas and went a little bit conservative at the end of the game. But you look at today, you look at that defense stepping up, getting off the field, flipping the field for the offense. One of those stops, defense stops on 4th down. Hendon Hooker comes, one play. You're hitting high in the end zone for a touchdown. One play. You talk about flipping the game. That's huge. I'll go ahead and say, I think this is the most complete game that Tennessee has played in years. They looked. The offense looked like it's looked all year. Hooker was efficient, maybe not quite as good as he's been this year, but they got it done. Put up 40 points again on the road in the SEC. But you look at that defense. The defense has been the question. The back end of the defense has been the question all year. They stepped up.
Definitely a complete game. I don't think the offense was even close to their best game. But
Absolutely.
Playing that complimentary football, but on the flip side of that, it's like the offense didn't play their best. But when you look at, and again, you called it, man. You said these running backs are going to put it together today. Jabari Small, 22 carries, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. And if the field doesn't tackle him early in the game, that 40-yard run, nobody's near him. And the announcers, I can't keep a straight thought because I'm so excited. But it's like that 40-yard run, nobody tackled him. He tripped. And the announcers, never once mentioned it. That they were so excited every single time LSU made a play, and then they were so depressed every time Tennessee made a play. But the running backs, man, Jalen Wright. I thought Jalen Wright ran the ball very physical. Didn't get as many opportunities as Small. Still had 12 carries, 59 yards. Hendon Hooker had 56 yards on the ground. The rushing game. We talked about it leading into the game. Me and Eric Kane talked about it on Locked On Vols. Rushing yards. What was going to happen? Because very similar. Tennessee's rush defense versus LSU's, both giving up around 100 per game. Rushing the football, Tennessee, LSU, both around 200 per game. Had a crazy LSU fan. Can't wait till this is over. I'm going to immediately go to his comment and make some fun little chatter with him. Said that there was no way that we were going to stop their rushing attack. LSU ends the day with 55 yards on the ground. Tennessee, 262 yards. We got 26 starred comments, Dauber. 26. I've got to give the people a voice. I've got to get their comments in. We got 1,002 people watching live right now. 1,002 people watching. I'm glad you guys are here to celebrate. Smash the thumbs up. If you're new to this channel and don't know what the heck is going on, who are these idiots? We're just like you guys. We are just like you guys, for the fans, by the fans. We are fans just like you. If you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. We go live after every single game. We drop videos all throughout the week. Going to be a fun week coming up. We're going to wrap up this post-game show. I'm going to drop a video in the morning. It's going to be the day after when I calm down and stop yelling and shouting and screaming. And then also Sunday night, I go live playing a little NCAA football. Eric Kane of VolQuest.com will be here Monday morning along with myself and Gabriel for the Monday morning show. Let's run down some of these super chats. That's the one we hit earlier, right? We already got Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee was a $100 super chat. Thank you, Brandon. Very generous. We appreciate it. Wayne Stards for 2 says for Dauber. I like that because Brandon's hundo is for me. The 2 is for Dauber. We appreciate it. Wayne Chatsworth for 10. Thank you for super chat. Victory money for our Talkin VAWLS. Thank you, Chatsworth. We appreciate that super chat. Orbd for 10. That defensive pressure today was really impressive. Feel like if they play that way against Alabama, we have a real shot at beating them. Tennessee is going to be competitive in that Alabama game. Mark my words. Caden Robinson for 5. We want Bama, but at the end of the day, the fact that we are even competing at this level in year 2 is insane, even if this isn't the year coming. Huge, yes. Like, year 2 is when you talk about, well, you should take a step. And for the last 20 years, we've made excuses in year 2. Ronnie Cantrell for 20. Nothing to say, just a tip in the old tip jar. We appreciate that, Ronnie. Very generous. The Sammy P for 5. I don't know code, STSDB. Probably something offensive, I would imagine. It's Sammy P. It's got to be offensive. Thank you, Sammy P, for the super chat. John Hill for $20. That ain't cheap. Now we are getting the gears going. Couple of places to oil, but dang, we are looking great. Go Big Orange. And shout out to John. He thought he was coming to hang out in the tailgate show earlier and dropped a $10 super chat here and said, grab the tiger by the tail. Time to go win. Go Big Orange. So thank you, John. You dropped like a super chat here and a super chat in the tailgate show. You always show up and support this channel. We appreciate it, my man. Thank you for that super chat. Daniel Holter for 5. This is for JP when you God bless America. They're going to be dropping super chats for random people on the street that I've got to track down and give money to. But thank you, Daniel, for the $5. I'm sure JP appreciates it. Brian for $50. That ain't cheap.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Brian for $50 says, Vol Nation 10, 15, 22. If you're in the stadium with me, stand the buck up and get loud. I heard a lot of people say that Florida game wasn't as loud as they expected. So I fully expect the atmosphere. Paint the picture, Dauber. What is the atmosphere going to look like for that Alabama game? And I don't know how much Tennessee will jump in the rankings. Probably depends a little bit on how the games in front of them look, how much respect they put on this win over 25th ranked LSU. Paint the picture. People in the chat saying dark mode. I say no. Orange out. Let's orange out, everybody wear their orange.
Orange breeches, orange jersey. Listen, my brother-in-law is an Alabama fan. I work with a guy in my department who is an Alabama fan, and they both have been, in my opinion, making excuses already.
Yes.
Talking about, well, Tennessee is this and they're that. And listen, they're scared. This offense scares them. Now, I've said all along, in a shootout game, I like Tennessee against anybody. My question has always been on the defensive side of the ball. But, man, after today, after seeing what, you had BY and you had the defensive line getting after the quarterback all day long. And you had the secondary stepping up and playing a pretty solid game. There were a play here and there, and it was, I think, LSU's first touchdown on that slant. Or actually, they got down inside the 5 on that slant. The coverage was 12 yards off the ball on the guy lined up in the middle that caught the slant to get down inside the 5. And that frustrated me because I said, man, here you go again. The same thing you did against Florida. The coverage is so soft. You're sitting back, and there were times when you did allow Daniels to have such an easy pitch and catch. But what I saw from the Florida week to this week was improvement. And granted, yes, you had a bye week and you had the extra week of practice, but this team is addressing issues. They are fixing issues or trying to fix issues, and they're improving.
I'll tell you what I like.
What more can you ask for?
You can't create players. You can't just make up players and throw them out there on the field and all of a sudden get better. All you've got is what you've got, right? This roster, we got a little excited about D. Williams, and I'll have to watch the replay. I don't remember seeing D. Williams one time make a play in the secondary, but he made an electric play on special teams, which surprised me. And we were texting about that, kind of laughing about Gabriel calling that out. But the bottom line is he looked electric. But you can't magically come up with players, but they changed the scheme, and they had more success with the change of the scheme. And that's what I like. Almost 1,000 people watching live still right now. We appreciate it. Guys, do smash that thumbs up. Let me run through, again, the Super Chat still coming in. I'm starring every single one of these Super Chats. We got them saved. You guys have a voice. I want to make sure we read your Super Chat live on air. If that means we're live for 3 hours, we'll be live for 3 hours. The Artful Dauber says, coaching, it's a hell of a thing. Yeah, exactly. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've had some coaching on Rocky Top, Dauber.
They are 5-0. And 3 of those games we said were toss-up games.
That is the biggest point. 5 games into this year, biggest point.
Playing with house money right now.
I want to make a point. I'm going to put it in the private chat. Dauber, you type it in the private chat. Type it in the private chat right now. Come back to playing with house money. What's the future? Type it in the private chat right now so I don't forget that point because I want to come back and talk to it. I'll run through some Super Chats while you do that. There's Brian again with the $50. Thank you, Brian. Very, very generous. We appreciate it. Evan counts for 5. Everyone needs to go contribute to NIL. Imagine how well Josh Heupel can recruit with this win and our contributions. Well, Evan, I'm glad you mentioned it because you can do that through us. We are an affiliate of Spire Sports Group. There is a link in the description below. If you want to donate to them, we get a little kickback, but guess what? Still 90% of that money goes directly to the student athletes. But you can also kick a little money our way, but we appreciate that Super Chat, Evan. Orbity for 5, I've got tickets to the Alabama game, and I've got a feeling it's going to be a super electric. I cannot wait. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Soak it in. That's my mindset now as we are playing with house money, like Dauber said. Enjoy the ride, boys. Enjoy it. Seth Brooks for $20. That ain't cheap. Great win. Hooker looks like a Heisman winner thus far. If we beat Bama, we have to move into the top 3 at that point. Hashtag Go Big Orange. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't know how much Tennessee will move this week. You go beat Alabama. Yeah, you're going to be thrust right up there into the top 2 to 3. Thomas Maynard for 2, 5-0. Celebrate it, Thomas. Enjoy it. Stevie J for 10. Today was the Hendon Hooker. Today was the day Hendon Hooker started building his legacy at Tennessee. We said that after the Florida game. Nobody remembers the Pitt game. Nobody remembers the Ball States. They remember the Floridas. They remember going to Death Valley on the road and beating a top-ranked LSU team. And not just beating. That's the thing we can't lose sight of. Like Dauber said earlier in the show, they dominated from start to finish. It was never even a game. It was never a game. But you're right, Stevie J. These are the games they talk about. Redneck Dwarf for 10. Thank you for Super Chat. Finally played a more complete game. Fast, check. Clock management, check. Sacks, check. Balance, check. Absolutely. Every Redneck Dwarf, if we didn't have 973 people watching, I would just say that's it. That's the post-game show. Good night. See you guys next week. Perfect. Exactly. Everything that Redneck Dwarf said right there is accurate. Daniel Holter becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for that. We appreciate your support. Rod for $50. You guys are going nuts tonight. We love it. We appreciate it. We're going to celebrate all night long.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Rod for $50 says, did you hear the ESPN announcer say Tennessee can beat Alabama and Georgia? In his opinion, if we play like today, wow, we're the best offensive team in college history. Right now, I said it. Let's unpack that. You know, here's the deal. When you guys drop a 50 spot, we'll pause the show and talk about that a little bit and let you guys drive the show because $50 is not cheap. But what do you think about that, Dauber? Because, again, the difference is a lot of the national media, guys like Roman Harper, some people around were saying Tennessee's going to upset either Alabama or Georgia, right? They were throwing that narrative around. People that are jumping in now, it's too late. It's too late because, again, here we are. We're 5-0 now. There's a difference between calling it back in the offseason and calling it now that Tennessee's 5-0.
Listen, preseason, I said 8-4 would be good. Anything else would be icing on the cake because my thought going into that was this offense is going to score points. That's what I said last year. A Josh Heupel schemed offense. And you saw it today. You saw wide receivers running open. I've got a point I'll make later. Hooker got blitzed and lit up probably on a play. Dylan Sampson missed his block, and then he ends up scooping up the fumble and making positive happens. But you see all that happen, and, man, it's just finally it's like the ball bounces right for Tennessee, you know. But after that play, Hooker looked a little off. There were, I think, 2 or 3 plays where he had wide open receivers that he missed. You had Fant, and then I think it was Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, he missed his next 3. The thing about it is after the play you're talking about with Dylan Sampson,
yeah,
beautiful call on 4th and 2 with the little shovel pass to Fant,
yeah.
And then he came back and I guess that's a completion, but he missed his next 3. Tennessee goes 3 and out. And you're questioning, is he okay? Is he okay?
They were wide open. That was my thought, because what you've seen from Hendon Hooker this year, and even going back into last year, is his efficiency, his being able to hit an open receiver, not just an open receiver, but to be able to put the ball on the numbers of a covered receiver. And that wasn't there all game today. So like the point you made earlier, they didn't necessarily play their best offensive game, but still coming out with a 40-13 win on the road in the SEC, big time.
And I would say maybe
stuff.
I know I'm the one that said that. Maybe Hendon Hooker statistically didn't play his best game, but I'm way more happy after the fact that the running backs had a solid outing. Yeah. I'm way more happy with that. Seeing those guys go out there and have success is way, way more important to me. We've still got a ton of starred comments. I'm going to come back. I promise I'm going to hit your super chats, but I want to talk about what Dauber said earlier about playing with house money, because going into this season, you know, we were both in alignment. I've been on with Eric Kane so many times, it's not even funny. I feel like we finish each other's sentences. We were all saying 8-4. That was 8-4 is a solid season. And when we can rewind history and go back and look where this football team was at when Josh Heupel took over, people weren't happy with the hiring of Josh Heupel. They were questioning whether Josh Heupel was going to have success. Like Dauber said, we've won 3 toss-up games. We are in the front. We are almost through the front half of the schedule. We got Alabama left, and Tennessee has won 3 toss-up games. How big is that? We are playing with house money, because let's say you go lose to Alabama and Georgia, and those were the 2 even when we're laying out our season predictions, and we're saying 8-4. You said 8-4, but you also said, but I could see 10-2, but I could also see 7-5. Now as we look at the rest of the schedule, let's say Alabama and Georgia are losses. You got to go beat UT Martin. You got Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. The way the season has played out, through, what is this, week 6, even though it's game 5 for Tennessee, week 6.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky's the only toss-up I see. So if you go lose to Alabama and Georgia, that Kentucky game's a toss-up. 9 wins is now the floor, Dauber. 9 wins is the floor. 10-2 is possible.
That's
11-1
like you
is
said,
possible.
The goalpost has shifted.
Yes, every week.
Every week. And what I've said is Tennessee is riding the momentum. They you go on the road and you beat Pitt. You win a top 20 matchup on the road. That's big. That's something this program, in the recent past, they've not been able to do. So that's getting over the hump. Then you have Florida come in and you're up 17 points at one point. And you do hang on to win. That's something that this program has struggled to do in the recent past. Then you go on the road as a favorite. Again, on the road as a favorite to a no question tough environment to play, even with a 11 a.m. kick. You still have to play the game. You still have to go to Baton Rouge and play the game. And you take care of business. And what I like about this afternoon is not only do you take care of business, but you take care of business in the way that you took care of business. In beating a team handedly 40-13.
That's what makes it so much sweeter. Like the Pitt game, like again, we said this after September, right? You're still 4-0. You got to celebrate that. They could have easily been 2-2. You left no doubt today. You left no doubt. You went out and dominated a top 25 team, and now here you sit 5-0 going into Alabama. I've got 33 super chats starred. Let me blast through them. You guys being very generous. Look, me and Dauber appreciate it. We love the support. We want to balance conversation with your opinion, and we will stay live all night long if we have to. We appreciate the support. Kevin Smith for 10. Great game. Absolutely ecstatic. Rocky Top, you are forever home sweet home to me. Go Big Orange. I love it, Kevin. Thank you for the super chat. Seth Brooks for 5. Also, how do I become a member? I can't figure it out. There is a join button right below the video. Right beside subscribe, it says join. You click that button. You got to enter your credit card information. You got to be signed into Google, which you are because your username's up. But if you can't do that, if you got an Apple product, that creates all kinds of problems. But there is a link in the description below. You hit that little drop-down arrow and you see all the description, our Twitter tags, all that stuff. There's a link in there that you can click and go become a member of the channel. For some reason, Apple doesn't want you to be able to do it from the app. So if you're on an Apple product, click that link, and you can become a member of the channel that way. But we appreciate it. Captain Spaulding becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for that. You got those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Guys, drop them in the chat. Show him what he's won. M5 for 2. HTP Tiger fan, nowhere to be found. Yeah, the guy that was a Pitt fan changed his name to an LSU fan.
No,
guess
Florida
what?
Fan first.
Did you do Florida first?
Yeah.
Well, guess who he's going to be pulling for next week?
Probably Bama.
Yeah, it's going to be HTP Bama, I'm sure, next week. Jarrett Black for 5. Thank you for some chat. Boogie, hold me to it. If we beat Bama, I'll rep Talkin VAWLS for live with the Talkin VAWLS. Oh, my gosh. Somebody screen capture this. This is better. This is better than the people saying $1,000 super chat and $500 super chat. I would much rather see a State Pride logo tattooed on Jarrett Black. Somebody... Dauber, point down right now. Somebody. That's the screen capture right there. That's the screen capture. Make it happen. Holy cow, that is way better. Way better than $1,000 super chat. Thomas for 5. I'm a Seth. I don't see the join button on the other channels. Am I geo blocked because I don't live in Tennessee? No, you should not be, Thomas. It's probably because you're on an Apple product. So if you, like I said, click the link. Just the same thing as I said earlier. You can become a member of the channel. VFL Willie for 2 says Brew. Brew had a great day. Absolute great day.
Big time.
Angry Titan. I don't know. I think he's been a member, so he may have upgraded his membership. Look, the more you give, the quicker you get the link for fan call-in shows. So that is part of it as well. Seth Brooks also becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Seth. Joseph Stoles for $10. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate it, man. Thank you for supporting this channel. The more you guys donate, super chats, memberships, all that stuff, more content's coming your way. More content is coming your way. We appreciate it. Scotty Cunningham for 2. LSU running back, 17 carries for 12 yards. I hope that LSU fan's watching. I cannot wait to go respond to his comment. Chris Bradley for 2. Gimmick offense, Boogie. Where's HTP Tigers fan? Yeah, I don't think that dude will come back. I don't think he'll be a Bama fan next week. Ryan Hall becomes a member. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate it. Ryan Meadows becomes a member. Thank you, Ryan and Ryan. We appreciate that support. Chase Newsom for 50. A 50 spot. A 50 spot ain't cheap. We pause, we reflect, and we say this right here.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Chase Newsom says $50. Let's go. Don't tell my wife about the 5-0. Wait, about the money. 5-0. We back. I love it. Thank you, Chase. Hope she doesn't see your credit card bill. I won't tell her. I mean, I'm sure the 935 people watching live won't. I'm sure they won't tell her. They'll keep the secret. They'll keep the secret. Robert Tuck for 2. Thank you for super chat. Smash the like button. Don't let Boogie down. I always love a super chat promoting. It's always great. Dustin Sellers for 20. I've said all week we have yet to play our best game. Today was the best we played start to finish. If we keep consistency and beat all the teams we are supposed to, we will be in great shape, GBO. Thank you, Dustin, for the super chat. We appreciate it. I've got 16 more. I want to keep blasting through them. We appreciate the support, guys. Prophecy Splat for 5. The noise on Rocky Top next week will cause earthquakes. I'm excited to see how loud it gets because I thought Florida would be loud. This is going to be, I'm telling you, Dauber, it's the biggest game in 20 years. Scotty Cunningham for 10. Boogie, you the man. Great show. What about Dauber? Like, why do the people drop super chats and say this is for Dauber, and then they just kiss up to me, and it's like, you didn't designate this to me. I can't get out my notebook and write it down. Great show. I've got a Buck Family shirt. Hope it arrives in time. Is this a statement win? 100%.
Absolutely.
100%, right? It has to be.
Like I said in the tailgate show, this game this afternoon, it goes a long way in proving, and it's a measuring stick to where this team is in year 2. That is the thing that is just mind blowing. You're talking about year 2, and the offense is clicking. The offense is humming along. It's the defense, and yes, after the Florida game, we came out of that with some questions and some reservations.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I tell you, they stepped up today. They stepped up today.
I think it's fair to criticize this team, but let me. You bring up an interesting point, and even though we've said it multiple times, it's year 2. It is year 2, and how many times in year 2 under different coaches? Me personally, I make excuses. Right? I say
they didn't have enough to start with. The roster, the depth.
Roster depth. You let him get his recruiting classes in, right? And people would come and fuss at you and say, no, you need to show progress in year 2 no matter what. And now we're seeing it, and it's like this one feels different.
Coaching.
Real coaches. Imagine that. Imagine having real coaches that develop players, know how to evaluate players. As we look at the class of 23, yes, and they continue to get boosted in ratings.
That right there, the evaluation of talent. Look at
Dylan Sampson.
Look at the guys they brought in the transfer portal. Look at that. Look at freshmen. Immediate impact.
Look at freshmen. Look at freshmen. Joshua Josephs, James Pierce. Which player was this fan base more hype about? James Pierce. Who's making the plays? Joshua Josephs. Running backs, Justin Williams-Thomas, Dylan Sampson. Who is this fan base more fired up about? Who's making the plays? Dylan Sampson. This coaching staff, and it's not just Rodney Garner, although his I would never question anything Rodney Garner does. Like, he's the best of the best. But give that running backs coach some credit. Jerry Mack is evaluating talent. He is. I got to keep running super chats. Let's see here. Nate Pruitt for 2. Let's go now. Buck Fama. Go pick up that Buck Fama shirt. Thank you, Nate, for the super chat. Logan Brooks for 2. A bunch of Vol fans showing up all of a sudden. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Let them show up. Wear orange. Fly the flag. Let's go. I don't care. Winning Feels great. Power T for 10. Tennessee is now the wide receiver. You give some love to our wide receivers who played a hell of a game today. Yes. And again, you look at rankings, ratings, recruiting ratings, all that stuff. How many more 5 stars?
As a
Carnell
skilled
Tate's
offensive player, who would not want to come play in this system?
But do you think, now that we're 5 games in and 5-0, that guys like Carnell Tate and guys like Kyler Casper start to raise an eyebrow and say, maybe. Robert Tuck for 5. Thanks for super chat. $1 for Crazy Nugs. $1 for Crystal Free. What the? I'm now giving money to the chat. Just kidding, Boog. Got to drive you a little crazy for the fans, by the fans. I love it, Robert. Appreciate that super chat. Ralph Keith for $50. That ain't cheap, and that means one thing.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Thank you, Ralph, for the $50. Very, very generous, and doesn't really say a whole lot. Just says, you guys rock. Awesome playing today. Go Big Orange. Man, we appreciate it, Ralph. Very, very generous super chat. Thank you for that. Thank you for the old tip in the tip jar. Boxman for 5. Love listening to y'all all season. Buck Fama, and let's go 6-0. Dauber, if we go 6-0,
man,
a grown human being will get a tattoo of Talkin VAWLS. Another grown human being will give us a $1,000 super chat. And another human being will give us a $500 super chat. I don't forget. I'm storing it all up here. But thank you, Boxman, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Drew Truesdale for 10, sitting in traffic in Baton Rouge, listening to the best damn podcast in the land. Go Big Orange. We love it, Drew. Although I've got to get people to stop calling it a podcast. I've been cross promoting with Eric Kane for dang near 2 months now, and he still calls it a podcast, and it's all because of that damned indie kid. He never grasped that this was not a podcast. It's a YouTube show. But regardless, nevertheless, Drew, we appreciate that super chat. Brent Bridges for 10. The bottom line is a 9-3 season now. Still have 2 50-50 games to go. Do you agree with that? Because I think Kentucky's a 50-50 game. And somebody in the chat was yelling and saying that's not a toss-up anymore. I still think it's a toss-up. And I think Alabama and Georgia are maybe like 70-30, maybe something like that.
I'm gonna give Tennessee the edge in the Kentucky game because of history and because of the fact it's in Knoxville. I think that's fair enough based on the way this team has played to get to 5-0. And based on the fact that if it's a shootout, I take Tennessee in a shootout.
I hope Will Levis makes all kinds of mistakes. But I think that 2 50-50 games is talking about Alabama and Georgia, and I just don't see them as 50-50. I don't see them as 50-50. Tennessee can win them. If they play like they played today, it will be down to the wire, and they'll have a chance to win. But they have to play like they did today.
They have to play a good game, and they have to have Hendon Hooker at his best and protecting the football. But what you take out of today's game, those 3 or 4 plays that he missed, the wide open plays he missed, you can't have that. He has to hit on all of those.
Hold on a second. You got to shut up.
Woo!
Micah Bush for $500. $500. $500. You guys see that? $500. I don't have enough clips. To play from Micah, but I'll play them anyway. That's $500.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I don't even know what to say, Micah. I don't even know what to say. I got the top super chatters going across the bottom there. All-time single donation is James Moody at $500. Is there a limit? I think there might be a limit that $500 is the max. That's what somebody said previously. So if that's the case, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to edit the banner and I'm going to add James Moody.
I think you need a slash.
Yes, James Moody and Micah Bush, because $500 is freaking ridiculous. Like that's ridiculous. But Micah, we love you. We appreciate it. You man, I don't know I never know what to say when somebody gives us $500. I don't know what to say. You do it, Dauber. You handle it. What do you have to say to Micah?
It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Micah, we appreciate that. And I'm all with you for the orange out. Orange is my favorite color. I'm a sucker for orange everything. God, you want me to go ahead and read it?
Yeah, you can read it. You read it.
Orange out for Alabama. The defense looked great, but still room for improvement. Yeah, absolutely. Offense looked great, but a few times seemed a little bit off. All that matters, baby, is the Vols are 5-0. Let's take care of business one day and one game at a time, and then go to Atlanta. GBO and fans, show your support and smash that like button for Boogie and team. Love the channel, GBO.
The chat's telling me $500 is the max. So what I'll do is everybody that gives $500, I'll just keep adding them to the list, and we'll leave them up there forever because $500 is amazing, amazing support, and we appreciate it, Micah.
It is mind-blowing.
It's like I don't even know what to say to it, but that's he's right. He's spot on. He's spot on. Do you buy that? Do you think that this team realistically can get to Atlanta? And if we want to play, the national media, the Roman Harpers of the world that are saying Tennessee's going to go beat Bama, I think Tennessee beating Bama is almost bigger. And I know this is like a big-time hot topic. Which one's more important, beating Bama or beating Georgia? If Tennessee goes 11-1 and beats Bama but loses to Georgia, Georgia goes to the SEC championship,
right,
and then Georgia beats Alabama, Tennessee's going to slide into the freaking college football playoff. What's more important, Dauber? The SEC, and I get it. It's a weird conversation because ultimately the goal is Atlanta. But you're talking about the 4 best teams in the country and Tennessee in year 2 of Josh Heupel being right there in the mix.
That is tough. Oh man. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I would rather beat both of them and just, not have that an issue.
Let's just beat them all.
Let's beat them all. How about that?
Somebody made a great point, Boogie. You gotta update the current stream too. Yeah, so let's update the current stream and the current month because I always update it every month. We'll get Micah Bush added. $500, man, just absolutely mind blowing. Like I don't even know what to say.
Solid points there, and that's what we've said all along. The offense looked good. The offense will look good all year. My big take coming from this game is the improvement of the defense, how the defense stepped up, how they got pressure to Daniels, how the secondary played so much better than they did against Florida.
They seem tighter, even though like Kamal Hadden made a ton of mistakes today. Ton of mistakes. Defensive holding, pass interference, made a ton of mistakes. But it seemed like the coverage was just tighter. It seemed like they were in position to make plays, whether they made the plays or not.
You had a couple of defensive face masks, and I get that. The one from Banks, I think that was just a case of, over pursuing the play, and he reached back to grab Daniel's face mask. It is what it is. Here's a big stat. Sacks. Yeah, I know you mentioned it before. You weren't sure how many sacks Tennessee had. They ended up with 5 sacks for minus 34 yards. You want to know how many sacks LSU had today?
None.
0. On a day when Gerald Mincey was out.
Did you even notice that, though? Did you even? And I said that when Gerald Mincey, they said he wasn't going to play. I was kind of like, the good thing is Mincey and Crawford were kind of 1A, 1B all throughout camp. So that gave me a little bit of confidence in J.J. Crawford, and didn't see him all day. And that's a good thing when you're an offensive lineman.
But how many times was the pressure from LSU was there? And how many times?
One of the best defensive lines in the country.
How many times did you see Hooker? And this is where I think that he has the edge of being one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks in the country. his reading the field and his ability to slide out of the pocket and make something out of nothing, to avoid the pressure and get some positivity out of the play. And you know, he was sliding tonight, not taking those big hits, although he did get
annihilated.
He got blown up.
And I know you mentioned Dylan Sampson on that, like, and maybe that was his guy. He went the kind of opposite way, if I remember the play correctly. Hooker's got to see that. It's to his right side. He's got to see that pressure coming. Got to see it coming.
That was one where I held my breath, because at that point they were up.
I thought Milton was coming in, 100%.
I did too.
I thought he was coming in.
And the way that Hooker responded the next to close that series, and even really into the next series, he looked off. He looked.
Do you think he got injected at halftime? He came out at halftime, looked a lot better. A lot better. You don't have to answer that question. You don't have to answer that question. Got a ton of super chats. Let's continue to roll through them. 33 super chats waiting. That's how generous you guys are being tonight. Like I said, we typically do an hour post-game show. We're an hour in. We're going to keep reading your comments and keep talking about this football game because you guys are being so generous.
We've not even really got into the game.
No, we're hey, we'll be live all night. This is a celebration, and we want you. I saw somebody in the chat say, "Why would you say you're pissed? We're not celebrating with you." I don't know, man. Kick rocks. I don't care if you're here, because we're here with 820 of our closest friends. If all you want to do is yell at me, dude, then piss off and kick rocks. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're a Tennessee fan, come celebrate and have a good time. That's what it's all about. Ryan Meadows for 5. GBO, we look solid today. Thank you guys for all the content. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate that super chat. Everything Sports with Jay Rice for $50. That is not cheap. You guys throwing $50 like it's nothing.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Everything Sports with Jay Rice for $50 says, can't stay for the rest of the show, but had to hop on and say, go freaking Big Orange. Let's go. All aboard the hype train. Hendo Cinco for Heisman. 5-0 defense looks tons better today. Thank you, Everything Sports with Jay Rice. We appreciate that. Very, very generous super chat. Thank you for dropping in. Ed is for UT for 10. What do you think the LV Las Vegas line versus Bama? Some people were saying like 9.5. I think they said. I would say that sounds about right. I would give Bama by a touchdown, maybe. So maybe they're saying 9.5 right now. Tennessee's at home. Give me 3, maybe 6.5, 7, somewhere around there. But I think Alabama should and will be favored. Like we said just a few minutes ago, Tennessee, if they play like they played today, this afternoon, they will be in the fight in the fourth quarter. So hopefully they continue to carry that fight for 60 minutes. The kid for $2, best day running the ball all year. Yes, and that was good, especially down the stretch when the game, you're trying to chew that clock. I loved it. Robert McGee for 20. Let's go, Boogie. It's 98, baby. Man, it finally does feel like 98. Love it, Robert. Thank you for the super chat. Seth Brooks for 10. I know I sound crazy, but we can go 12-0. Alabama and Georgia are both beatable. I don't question anything at this point. Let's just go win them all. Let's go to Atlanta. Let's win the SEC. Let's go win a freaking national championship. Why not? Why not? It's freaking possible. Let's just go do it. Ryan Hall for 2. Let's go Big Orange. UT 38. Bama 35. Let's do it. That's going to get us $1,500 in super chats, and a grown man is going to get a Talkin VAWLS tattoo. So let's go make it happen. I love being white. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. We appreciate it. Thomas Maynor becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for that. I guess he figured that out. Gavin Matthews for 10. I'm just saying we beat a better Georgia team with less. Go Big Orange. Let's make it happen, Gavin. Let's make it happen. The kid must be upgrading his membership because I think Elijah's been a member for a long time. Thank you, the kid. R. John Cena 54 becomes a member. Thank you. We appreciate that. Joel for 10. Not making me cuss anymore, but Joel's mad at me because he's messaging me 30 seconds before we go live wanting the link, and I didn't respond, so now he wants Dauber to get the $10. It is what it is. There is – I love you, Joel. I love you, Joel. You got to show up for more fan call-ins, and you got to earn that spot. It takes if you haven't noticed, everybody that's on the post-game shows is real-life buddies. We're a clique, and it takes a lot to get into the clique. But I love you, and there's a B team, And we got morning shows, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun stuff. But I'll give it all to Dauber. It's fine. I'll give him your super chat, Joel. Bill Kell becomes a member. Thank you, Bill. We appreciate it. Every single member that joins this channel just continues to build what we're trying to grow here. I love being white again for 20. Tennessee has championship-level run defense. We're daring teams to get into a shootout with us with soft coverage. You know, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
but
that's not,
we saw the same thing last year. Tennessee very, very good in run defense last year and struggled against the pass and struggled to get to the quarterback. But tonight we saw I keep saying tonight because it's getting dark already. This afternoon, Tennessee got after the quarterback with pressure. And I hope they continue. I hope they continue with that game plan. And we've seen it against Pitt. We've seen it against LSU. And we saw what happened against Florida when they don't do that. You not think they, moving forward, they're going to be a little bit more aggressive?
I think so, and that was exactly my complaint after the Florida game. You saw what happened when you dialed up the pressure on a quarterback that's completing 50% of the passes. You put pressure on him, and he struggled all year. So, I mean, why sit back so soft and allow him to just dink and dunk and hit a wide open receiver? You know, get some pressure on him. Have your secondary playing a little tighter so that window isn't as, big as it is. And it's a little bit easier to break up a pass when you're not trying to close out, 8 yards on a play that the ball's already in the air.
Yep, 100%. Guys, I do want to say this real quick. We still have 780 people watching live right now, and I get it. Some people probably get frustrated because we read so many super chats, but if you guys are going to spend money to have your comments read, we're going to read them because for the fans, by the fans means something. We're not just going to sit here and go live and ignore $2 and $5 and $10 super chats. We're gonna read them. What I am going to say is 760 people still watching live, and it's Bama week. And you know what I say about Bama week? I say Buck Fama. And we've got the brand new Buck Fama shirt that we just dropped like a month ago. And it's a limited edition because you guys talked me into it. I didn't want to do this shirt, and you guys talked me into it. And now here it is, limited edition. It's only going to be available until next Saturday. After the game, once the live stream ends, we are deleting this shirt, and we are deleting it forever. But here's the deal. To tell you guys how important memberships are. And yeah, we're already an hour and 10 minutes into this thing. We're already in overtime. So we're going to wrap within the next, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how the show goes. So you guys got limited time to gain 15 new members. 15 new members come in, and I'm going to mail out a free Buck Fama t-shirt to somebody in this chat. So if you guys continue to join the channel starting right now, and I'll include everybody that I have starred, so we'll include them as well, 15 members away, 15 new members between now and the end of the show, and we will send out a free Buck Fama shirt. I've got it. I got a notepad over here, and we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. But if you want to pick one up, you can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Let me continue to grind through these super chats because you guys are being very generous. G. Smith says, here's $3 for Dauber. I'm glad that the $3 super chats, the $2 super chats are for Dauber, and I will claim the $500. Atomic Gas Man for $2. Go Big Orange. I see what you did there. Thank you for the super chat. Dakota for $5. Dakota goes for $5 and drops our merch link in the description. I love it. Go here for merch. This helps Boogie pay me in shirts. Go Big Orange. Go. Okay, now I see what Dakota's trying to do. Dakota's trying to get a free shirt because he's advertising shirts. I got you, Dakota. I appreciate you dropping it in the super chat there. Jeff Barnett for 10. Does this game move Hooker out of the Manning-Martin shadow?
Man,
that's tough because Manning's the best quarterback of all time. Martin won a national championship. I think Hooker is still not out of that shadow. No way. No way. No way.
That's a tall shadow that has been cast by those two individuals.
You better go win a national championship or at least an SEC championship.
I mean, you are talking about the most efficient quarterback that we've seen in the last 2 decades. I'll go ahead. I'll put that out there. When Josh Heupel was hired, I said, what you're getting is going to be an offensive scheme that is going to be unlike anything that has ever been seen at Tennessee. And you're talking averaging 40 points a game. And yes, the defense has been suspect and had questions, but it's exciting football to watch. Tennessee football has moved into the 20th century. And how many times, Boogie, how many times have you sat in the last decade and watched, I don't know who, North Carolina or Rutgers or Oregon or somebody else, and they're playing and they're, popping off 15, 20, 35, 40-yard plays. And Tennessee has been struggling to grind out 10 yards for a first down.
You just watch it and you say, why can't we do that?
Why
can't we do that?
And now Tennessee is doing that, and it is so fun to watch. It's so fun.
Kelly wants me to smoke a cigar in the arcade if Tennessee beats Alabama next week. Yeah, I don't know how that. I probably would be kicked out of the house. Let me continue. So many super chats. You guys are awesome, and I'm gonna keep grinding them out here because you guys have a voice. Charles Bodman for 10. I don't see us winning against the low tide clam flats, but you never know. Hey. Like we said, if they go do what they did tonight, that's possible. Ronnie Cantrell for $50 doesn't even say anything, just says, Boogie, play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Thank you, Ronnie, for the super chat. Very, very generous, especially when you don't say anything. Just here's $50. Love the show. Thank you, Ronnie. Brent Bridges for 10. Imagine having a year one wide receiver coach picked by the players and seeing even more wide receivers get developed already. I liked seeing him get up in the face of Jalen Hyatt and grill him, man. I loved it. Yep. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. There's Micah Bush again. Let me just show that one again. Even though we already read it, Micah. Thank you for the $500. Absolutely ridiculous. Bill Kell for 5. Here we go. We are back. Let's finish in the top 10 recruiting using those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Thank you, Bill. We appreciate it. Barry becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Barry. I'm gonna count it. I don't know if that one came in before or after I said we needed 15 members to get a free T-shirt. So I'll go ahead and count it. Joseph Redden for 10. I would have been happy this season with only Florida win, but now I don't want to jinx it, but what's the college football playoff look like? Even with 11-1, it can happen. And we kind of just talked about that. Thank you, Joseph, for the super chat. We just kind of ran that down of what would look better for Tennessee, an SEC championship appearance or the national football playoff appearance. National? I can't even talk. Nate Pruitt for 2. Just FYI, Georgia versus Auburn, 0-0 in the second quarter. Score 0 points against Tennessee into the second quarter and see what happens.
I'll throw another one out there, a score of interest. How about Vandy 10, Ole Miss 3?
Dude, I was setting the DVR today so I could watch the games around the SEC, and I just didn't record that one. I was like, I'm not going to record this and watch Vanderbilt beat that. I would love it. Debo for 5. Thank you for chat. We played as a team. This team always plays as a team, and that's the leadership. Drew Truesdale for 5. Best damn YouTube show in the land. Go Big Orange. Love it, Drew. Thank you. Glad you enjoy what we do around here. I just lost. LOL becomes a member of the channel. Let me update the leaderboard. We're down to 13 new members to give away a free Buck Fama shirt. Zachary Dykes with a $5 super sticker. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. The Kid for 5. Let's get 100,000 Tennessee fans in orange Talkin VAWLS beat Bama shirts or Buck Fama shirts. Yeah, if we sold 100,000 of those, I'd probably just buy a new house and be happy. Thank you, Elijah. We appreciate the super chat. Barry Gaylord for 20. Nothing to say, just a $20 tip. We appreciate it, my man. Daniel Holter for 5. They got it done without Tillman again.
Huge.
Y'all think he'll be ready for Bama? Dude, how big is that? Like, we're not even talking about the fact that they are without their top receiver and still taking care of business.
The point that I made when Tillman went down, because that was Hendon Hooker's security blanket. You had him looking for Tillman. That was who he focused on. That's going to force him to look for somebody else. You also had the expanse of time that he gets more comfortable with Brew McCoy. You look who had a huge game today, Brew McCoy. 7 catches, 140 yards. averaging 20 yards a catch. Tillman comes back. Who you guarding? Who are you trying to shut down? Because you've got Tillman, you've got Height, you've got Brew McCoy. You saw Keaton, Princeton Fant.
Keaton had a couple that could have been big-time plays. Just out of reach.
How are you stopping this wide receiving core with a quarterback in Hendon Hooker that has been so efficient? Pick your poison, and then we're going to somebody else.
I love it, man. That's why in going into the year, and even, I don't know, I kind of question now, like, going into the year, the transfer portal, we talked about needing a wide receiver. And people are like, we don't need a wide receiver. We don't need a wide receiver. Ramel Keaton's played some good football, man. He's played some good football. Austin Byers in the chat. He must have been one of the ones that said, where'd he go? He says, one more win. $500 is yours. Dauber, mark it down, buddy. Mark it down. Tennessee goes and beats Bama. $1,500 in Super Chats. And a grown man will get Talkin VAWLS tattooed on his body. That better be tweeted out, too. I want to see it on freaking social media, on Twitter. I want to see it somewhere. We're almost caught up on Super Chats. Joel for 2. Missed my $20 from earlier. Oh, my gosh. Did I really? How did I miss? I don't know how I missed it. I mean, there's only been 8,000 Super Chats come in. Let me see if I can scroll down and find it real quick. I'm sorry, Joel. And for anybody else, if I missed your Super Chat, let me know. I apologize. Let me see if I can find Joel real quick. Pulled up the YouTube channel here real quick. Let me scroll down. I got Joel for 10. Dauber's greater than Boogie. I don't know why I would miss a Super Chat from you, Joel. Keep scrolling. Almost there. Looking for Joel. Where is Joel? It's going to be awesome when I get to it, and I did read it. That's what's going to be the best part. I'm still scrolling down. Joel for 10 with profanity. We read that. Joel for 20. Told y'all in the preseason LSU can't keep up. Still sticking with 10-2 for a prediction. This team is hungry. Hashtag GBO. Love it, Joel. Sorry I missed it, buddy. And again,
Lots coming in.
There's a lot going in. And please let me know if I miss your Super Chat. And I apologize, Joel. And it's not the first time. Probably won't be the last time. But so many Super Chats coming in. But thank you, Joel. And glad I could go back and read that.
Great point, though. I mean,
yeah.
Right
100%.
on. Right on.
100%. Love it. Allie becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Allie. We appreciate that. Let me update the tick marker. 12 members away. 12 members away from giving away a free Buck Fama t-shirt. Mark Fernandez for $20. That ain't cheap. Need to clean up the fumbles. Great win, though. GBO, that's a good point. Jalen Wright, as hard as he ran, he did turn the football over.
Well, he coughed it up. Did we?
Yeah. Went out of bounds. Sorry.
Didn't end up with a lost turnover. But, yeah, that's what I said tailgate show going into the game. I really thought the only way Tennessee lost this game to LSU would be if they beat themselves. And you did see some turnovers, but, the ball bounced the right way and out of bounds or right to Dylan Sampson on the one Hooker coughed up. And then you did have some penalties, but they ended up not really biting them. So you look back to 98, it took the ball bouncing the right way a couple times. You got to have some luck on your side. And I think Tennessee is finally on the right end of some of that luck.
Yep.
You talk about the way that games have been lost. You talk about Jabbar Gaffney touching the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. You talk about the Music City Bowl and against North Carolina. You talk about the procedure play against LSU. You talk about all these things that the ways that Tennessee has lost games. And I really think it goes back to some of that is coaching. Some of that is, situational plays. And I think things are different with this coaching staff. I think this team is different. You've not seen this team mail it in. You've not seen this team give up when they've been down. They still fight tooth and nail and play every down all out. And that's something that you just can't gloss over. because we've talked about the talent gap. We've talked about the drop off between the second team and the third team in these from where this Tennessee team is and the elite teams of the SEC. But they're still playing us hard. And that's where sometimes having a 3 or 4 star kid that has that drive and motivation may outplay that 5-star kid who's been told you're the man all your life. So can Tennessee go and beat Alabama? Can Tennessee go and beat Georgia? Absolutely they can. But they're going to have to get a good game from their quarterback. They're going to have to get a good game from their running backs. They're going to have to get a good game from their wide receivers. They're going to have to get a good game from the entire defense.
That's the key. Everybody has to put it together for 60 minutes for Tennessee to be able, because they don't have the depth and they don't have the talent that Alabama has and that Georgia has. And that's what's so impressive about this coaching staff is they don't have that talent, but they're doing more with the talent they have. And we could get into it and break down Hendon Hooker and the wide receivers. What happens when Josh Heupel gets big-time 5-star elite-level talent in here? Robbie S. said I missed his super chat too, so I scrolled way back while you were talking. He dropped a $10 super chat, said, told you boys that if be seeing ya in the lost game celebration. I think Robbie's been drinking since 6 o'clock this morning. That's what the super chat says. But we appreciate it, Robert. Thank you for the super chat. I feel like I've been chasing super chats all night, but I love it. We appreciate the support. Franklin Lick becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Franklin. Evan Thompson becomes a member of the channel. Alpha Omega becomes a member of the channel. Thank you for that. Cameron Stacy becomes a member of the channel. That is 4 new members, and that puts us down to 8 members away from a free T-shirt. Yeah, I'm rolling through them. Matt Bagley for 10. It's Buck Family Week, baby. The defense was so improved at the QB all day. I hope my shirt arrives this week. Can't wait for wear orange all week. Yeah, let's do it. Everybody 100%. Wear that orange. Rep that 100%. Orange.
100%.
Michael Garcia becomes a member of the channel, and Joseph Redden becomes a member of the channel. What does that take us down to? 6? We need 6 new members to give away that free Buck Fama shirt. Travis Melvin for $20 says LSU GBO Buck Fama. Let's go. It's freaking Bama week. It is Bama week. Jason Calhoun for 2. How about them balls? Could have scored 60. Joel for another 5 says, no worries, fellas. I know it's hard to keep up with so many. Keep up the good work and go Vols. Thank you, Joel. We appreciate it. And Joseph Redden for 10. Hype is playing chess. All these coaches are playing checkers. Am I caught up? Am I, for the first time in an hour and 22 minutes, caught up on Super Chats? And we are 6 members away from giving away a free shirt. Dauber, now we can run the show. What's up, buddy? What did you think of the game tonight?
That last point, that is something that is crucial to where this team's success is on the field. I think coaching is the biggest difference because, yes, we've hit the transfer portal. Yes, we've got some guys in via recruiting and the NIL and all of that, but you're seeing improvement week to week. Where you look at previous coaching staffs, you would go from one game to the next, and you would see the same mistakes being made over and over and over again. This team has made adjustments. You look at the Pitt game. They schemed up, game planned, specifically on the defensive end, because that is to me, that is where the concern is. This offense is going to go out, and they're going to get theirs. They're going to score points. The defense is where the concern is. They schemed up for a defensive game plan for Pitt. It was drastically different to the game plan against Florida. The game plan against Florida, though successful, had its flaws. So you take that and you look at the game plan today against LSU. Again, it was different. And that game plan today was way more successful than the game plan against Florida. So that is improvement in coaching, improvement in the execution from the players, and the result is it's not a game that goes down to the last play of the game. It's a 40-13 beat down on the road against a top 25 team.
Yeah, does it matter? Like, does it matter? Like, again, you look at stats, you look at numbers. Does it matter that Jaden Daniels threw for 300 yards
Absolutely
when Tennessee
not.
absolutely destroyed 40-13? 40-13. It does not
They
matter.
could have thrown for 700 yards.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't
Bottom
matter.
line is they didn't score.
And what I love is what you just said. It was a different game plan for Pitt. It was a different game plan for Florida. It was a different game plan for LSU. This coaching staff is going to adapt and watch tape and do what they feel needs to be done. And now Josh Heupel, coming off of another bye week, still undefeated coming off of bye weeks. You like that with your coaching staff. Only Varsity becomes a member of the channel. Also drops a $2 super chat. Vols by Fitty. Bama sucks. Go Vols. I love y'all. Thank you, Only Varsity. We appreciate all the support there. We are now 5 members away, but we're going to wrap the show up soon. Look, we are over an hour and a half. We usually do an hour post game, but trying to let you guys have a voice, hit every single super chat. I hope I didn't miss any. You guys have been very, very generous tonight. Let's talk about some key takeaways for today's game. Again, for me, it starts with the opening kickoff. Tennessee starting fast. LSU fumbles that kickoff. Tennessee responds. Special teams, man. Chase McGrath, even though he missed that field goal from 50 yards out, outside of that, and that he barely pushed it. And if that's a 49-yard field goal, that field goal is good. So he's been pretty much automatic all season. Again, Brian Kelly going for it on 4th down. LSU down 10 early. They drive down to the red zone, and you're thinking, okay, he's going to kick a field goal, cut this to a one-score game. No, he decides to go for it, and guess what Tennessee does on that 4th down? They blitz. They bring pressure. They force Jaden Daniels to check down through the running back, and he is short of the first down marker. And then just the fact, defense top to bottom, bringing pressure, being more aggressive, even though we've kind of talked about all this. This is just my keys to the game. The fact that LSU made some plays, that's what good football teams do. But Tennessee bringing heat, bringing pressure, put them in position to win. BY, we've been waiting for his coming out party. This was it. BY got to the quarterback early and often all day long. Time management, again, late in the game. They're letting the clock run down. They had success running the football. They were up 37-13 late in the game and put together a 9-minute drive. That is huge. If this football team is going to be able to beat the Alabamas and the Georgias, you got to be able to run the football and you got to be able to chew clock if you've got a lead. Those were the big talking points for me for Tennessee to come out of here with a win.
But before that, even go back to right before the half, the missed field goal.
Yep.
And then the defense stepping up, and then Hooker driving right down to give a chance for adding more points because you get the ball in the third quarter. And then what does Tennessee do? They come out right down the field to score. So that's a 10-point swing right there. You miss the field goal, and you're all deflated, but your defense steps up and gets the offense a chance. Would they get the ball back? Under a minute? I'm pretty sure.
I love the pressure. Again, BY. I think BY was the one that got the sack right there.
That was big time stuff right there, and that's the second time that we've seen Tennessee. They did it against Florida. They had a scoring drive at the end of the first half, and they come out in the second half, get the ball, march right down the field, and that was the difference in the game in the Florida game, but. Today, coming out, getting those points right before the half, and then coming out and scoring to start the second half against LSU, I think that was the nail in the coffin. I think that sealed the game right there because this game, even though it was done and dusted early on, you come out and you just seize that momentum in the second half. LSU, they essentially melded in, man. They did not do a lot in the second half. Yeah, they scrapped down and ended up with one more touchdown late, or kicked a couple field goals late. I mean, you went to a hostile place. And like I said,
And took it over. We
at
took
the
it
top-
over.
The top of the show, even though it was an 11 a.m. kick, you still had to go play the game. You still had to go to their house and play the game, and you just dominated from start to finish. 40-13. How many times in the last 20 years has Tennessee gone on the road to a ranked opponent and dominated them in this fashion?
Yep. 5-0, baby. 5-0. 5-0. And every game has looked different. And LSU was the icing on the cake because they went on the road and absolutely dominated. Daniel Holter for $100 freaking dollars. You guys are going nuts tonight. We're about to wrap the show, but Daniel's sending us out here with a bang. Hundo.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Daniel for $100 says, sign up so Booger, I don't know who Booger is, can give away a free shirt. Just need 5 more. Split it straight down the middle, 80-20, LOL. Buck Fama. Buck Fama. Thank you, Daniel, for the freaking very generous super chat. You guys are nuts. Harold becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Harold, for that. We appreciate it. Down to 4. We need 4 more members, but we are legitimately about to wrap the show. But here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do because you guys have been absolutely insane. Because the fact that Daniel just dropped a $100 super chat as we're about to wrap the show, we're going to give away a free shirt anyway. We're going to give away a free shirt anyway. Here's what you have to do. There's still 600 people watching live. First of all, hit the thumbs up. Just hit the thumbs up. That's the easy part. And then after we go off air, we're going to wrap the show. We're going to play the outro music. The show's going to process. Come back after the fact. Not a chat, not a live chat, a comment. Come back and leave a comment and let us know what your keys to victory were. What stood out to you in today's game that you liked. And thank you, Daniel, for the $100. We will pick one person that leaves a comment telling us what they liked in today's game. We will pick one of you to win that free shirt. Jeff Puckett for $20 says, tradition about hearing Hype's press conference. We're an hour and a half in. Maybe we'll do that Monday. Maybe we'll do it on the Monday morning show, me and Gabriel. Maybe we'll give you guys a little overtime, a little bonus. Eric Kane's going to be on the show. But it's going to be a busy weekend. Look, tomorrow, day after video, coming to you bright and early in the morning. Make sure you tune in for that. I'll be live tomorrow night. You guys can come hang out 2 to 3 hours. Yes, I play video games, but guess what? We talk Tennessee football the entire time. So come hang out for that. And then maybe Monday morning we will listen to Josh Heupel's press conference. But thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. The Artful Dauber for 10. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, the man is coming to town. Let's see what you got. Go Big Orange. That may be my favorite super chat of all time. That may be my favorite super chat of all time. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and the man is coming to town next week. Look, we got to wrap this thing up. We are an hour and a half in. You guys have been very, very generous. We're going to give away a free shirt. So come back after the fact, leave a comment, and tell us what your key to victory was tonight. But that is going to do it. Huge win. 5-0. Alabama coming to town next week. Let's orange out Neyland Stadium. Let's checker Neyland. Whatever you guys want to do, let's get together. Let's have a good time. Tons of content coming your way this week. Huge, huge game for this football program. So be right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you have a friend, an aunt, an uncle, a relative that likes Tennessee football, let them know about Talkin VAWLS. Let's continue to blow this channel up. That's going to do it. He's Dauber. My name's Boogie Bentley. He wants to say something, so go ahead, Dauber.
Well, I was just going to say.
Oh, I forgot you had the sign, but nobody really got mad. If anybody's complaining, because on social media, people were pissed about the pass defense. And Dauber's sign sums it up. He was so bored during the second half that he made that sign for anybody that's upset. So you guys can screen capture that and blast it all over social media too.
Hey, we're 5-0, but that's not the end. That's not
got a long way to go.
I'm not satisfied with 5-0. We can absolutely beat Alabama. Can absolutely beat Georgia. Can absolutely go to Atlanta. But this team has to continue to improve. That's the point I want to leave you with. They have to continue to get better. And they've done that week to week to week. They've taken steps, they've taken strides, but they have to continue that.
Next week's the biggest week. Alabama's coming to town. Huge game, huge atmosphere. Like I said, tons of content coming your way. Make sure you're dialed in, subscribed. Hit the comment section after this. One of you is getting a free t-shirt. But that's going to do it. He's Dauber. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.